be for less government? I don't understand it.
I understand your point of view, and this is the hardest reason, or this is the main reason why it's hard to get across. And this is why so many people were against the war against England, you know, the Revolutionary War, is because they were being helped by Britain.
Right.
You know, so, but the reason why it's so hard to get across.
Maybe we're digressing a little, but I have a question. We have the Federal Reserve Board.
Yeah.
What do other developed countries have? They have something very similar?
Absolutely.
Did we develop something that they had, or did we were the first ones? I don't know this question.
No, we were the last to get off the gold standard.
But I'm saying...
And we are the richest,
or
at least
an
originally.
equivalent of a Federal Reserve Board before 1913 in any of these other countries, is where I'm coming from?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good question. They always profess that they did the right thing. And okay,
well, I have a question.
Did you know there was a depression before the 1929? There was a depression. Yeah, 1919, 1920, somewhere in there.
They always called it a recession. But what
it was a depression for 1 year, and then they got back out of it.
What you find all the time, for the most part, is after a war.
Right.
I'll give you a great example.
Not just after it, but during it.
No, during it, there's more production, there's more jobs. But after the war ended, World War II in 1945, they had a bit of a recession. They called it a recession in 1946, 47, 48.
That's right.
The 1919 one was after World War I.
Right.
But there's always those cycles when there's a recession.
But there shouldn't be. You realize that it's created from the Federal Reserve because there was no real depression before 1913. You notice that?
Well, no,
because
you had something about 1893. Over there, you had something about 1893.
Right, because they wanted to.
You had the ups and the downs.
That's right, but it corrects itself.
It does.
The market corrects itself. It's not the Federal Reserve that corrects it because they're the ones prolonging it. The Depression lasted for 8 years. Okay,
probably
so
a little long.
yeah, something like that.
It basically lasted until World War II started.
I couldn't argue that, but it's possible. Yeah, but the first Depression, the Federal Reserve was instated, but they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything to correct it. They just let the market work. Yeah, and it corrected itself within a year.
What? After the Depression, the Great Depression?
No. Before that, the one we were talking
1919?
about. 1919? Yeah.
Okay.
And then the Depression, the Federal Reserve tried to correct it with interest rates and everything, and they couldn't. It lasted for 8 years. And what are we doing right?
But close.
It was something like that. Whatever.
I
might be wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Federal Reserve, because they try to correct it themselves and make it last like a lot less than a year, it actually makes it a lot worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's exactly where I'm going with this. We should be on a gold standard. We should have the power of the purse back to Congress. You know.
If it hasn't, Nixon took it away. You said 1971. He got off the gold standard.
Yes. Yep. We were the only country in the world to actually still be on it. Okay. You know, at least a great power.
They're not going to go back to the gold standard. They're not going to go back.
I believe that it's the most logical sense to me.
But it won't happen. Has there been any talk about doing it? Because I haven't heard. There has.
Yeah, because of the audit bill. They're trying to audit the Federal Reserve.
The HR 1207?
1207, yep.
Okay.
And they're going to, probably everybody's going to be so mad. Because I know it's going to pass. There's, 297 co-sponsors. The only problem really is the Senate. If the Senate does pass it, the president is, obligated to sign it.
No, he doesn't. He's not obligated.
He's not obligated, but politically he is.
He could veto it.
He could veto it, yeah. But once it goes back to Congress, they're going to pass it.
Not necessarily, because you need 2/3 to override a veto. Am I right?
297 is more than 2/3.
The Senate. With the Senate is 2/3.
The Senate. Oh, okay, my bad.
Okay.
I got it wrong.
No, but
you see what I'm saying.
The Senate, isn't it 2/3 the veto, overturning the president's veto?
That's right, yeah.
All right.
I remember.
So you got 60 Democrats, I believe it now. I think there's an opening, but bottom line, it's about 60-40. No, excuse me, 60-40.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're going to need 7 Republicans or 8 Republicans.
That's the point. What are they holding back? And once they can audit, hopefully, things will change. That's the way I see it. Well, hopefully we will go back to a gold standard. I think we're the only
What you
country
need
that
to find
would.
out is, you need to find out the current climate to go back to a gold standard, the feasibility, the political
The
reality.
politicals, the politicians right now, I don't think that they see a need to. But I see more people understanding now that it is actually the best thing for us. It would, inhibit the government from going to war so much, from doing so many things that it probably shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean? And the war, to me, wars are ridiculous. I don't know if you...
Some aren't. This one we got into because they said there was weapons of mass destruction, and it really wasn't.
You're right.
It was,
it was a lie.
It was
It was a flat lie.
flawed. Call it what you want.
Yeah.
The intelligence was a lie.
Absolutely.
World War II is different.
Oh yeah. Well, whatever. I don't know
what I'm
the political ramifications
saying.
of that. But we were still on a gold standard back then.
Right.
We're allowed to do all of our empire building now because of that.
I don't know whether this has anything to do with it, but when Nixon got off the gold standard in '71, I'm not sure what the reasons were.
Right.
But the Vietnam War was going on at that time too. When I was listening to you ranting and raving,
Yeah.
I had questions. Why do we get up? Like any story. How, why, when, what, where.
Yeah.
Why do we get up to gold standard?
Right.
We know the when.
Yep.
How has it been working or how didn't it work? How did it come about getting up to gold standard? Has it been working or not working?
For example, Rome. The Empire of Rome fell because they spent too much on wars. They were trying to expand their territory.
the
We
Roman
might not be
Empire.
doing that ourselves. We're trying to spread the idea of democracy. It's still the same idea. We're empire building. You know what I mean? So
But the most giant,
exactly.
the
Once
USSR and the Chinese and us, we're all empire building, aren't we?
the USSR
one?
fell because they were empire building in Afghanistan. They
I don't
were
think they
fighting
fell because of that.
absolutely monetarily. It killed them.
Okay, monetarily.
That's
okay,
the point.
I'm sorry.
It's not
It didn't help.
people.
It didn't help their situation with the monetary.
Is it morally right to be over there anyway? I mean, off of the monetary idea, but is it morally right to be trying to spread an idea that we believe in and maybe they don't believe
What I
in?
know is why exactly are we there? Is it?
There's 5 reasons I've heard of, or
No,
you know
no.
what I mean. It's ridiculous.
But you want to be in over in Iraq, excuse me.
Hmm.
Is this oil driven?
That's one of them, I think. Yeah,
I always want. Is it oil driven more
absolutely.
than anything?
That's money. Oh yeah. Why wouldn't we be over there for money?
No,
and
but-
then, trying to spread the word of democracy, and we're after Osama bin Laden when he was actually in Afghanistan or something. There's a ton of reasons to be in Iraq, but they're all faulty. What's the moral thing to do? Why would we send our own flesh and blood over there to help other people maybe get a different government? Maybe. That's my best argument for it. It's morally incorrect. My most what I want to do is have Ron Paul on here. That would be hilarious. I mean, not hilarious, but it would be the best thing ever. That would be
he's
an
actually
honor.
very, very conservative.
He is, yes.
Way conservative.
But it's a libertarian stance. He's not a Republican in the stance
He got
of what they
elected
are.
as a Republican, if I remember right.
Oh yes, he's been a Republican. He's been under that banner, but he's not. He's the only one that the only Republican that does not like the wars, and that's why I like him so much. Anti-war. Why would you not be anti-war, especially right now? Because
Aren't some Democrats anti-war, and you don't want to be a
Absolutely.
Democrat. You
That's
like to
right.
be libertarian.
that's libertarians more in the middle. That's the way I see
No.
it. Because you have Republicans that are so, they're conservative fiscally, theoretically, but
they're not.
They're totally into war. That's right. That's right. And then liberals, they have the idea of freedom, principled in, you can be who you are and I'll be who I am, and that's great, and that's incorporated into libertarianism, and that's why I like it so much.